Hey, how are you doing? So today we're going to go over one more of the advanced input buttons, and in this case we're going to look at the radio button. Now, I was looking for an example that I could use to demonstrate some of the capacities of the radio button, and this is the example that I chose. So I've had this one for quite some time, so this is just calculating the moment resistance for a reinforced concrete beam, and specifically I'm going to look at this first section here where we determine the amount of concrete cover required depending on whether it's interior or exterior or some other condition, and because that changes according to the code. That changes how much cover you need. Now here we have our reference from our code, and this is what we came up with before. So this uses the combo box here to come up with a script for exposure. And so it uses that script in the program block here, a couple simple if statements and else if, to figure out what the cover should be based on the degree of exposure. And then it further integrates another requirement of the code, which is that it has to be the maximum of that cover calculation based on exposure, or 1.5 times aggregate max. And so from that we get our cover requirements. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to delete this and see if we can do the same thing using the radio button, and then we can decide if that's what we like or not. I mean, I'm pretty happy with this. I was really quite chuffed when they came out with the combo box. But yeah, let's see how that radio box does. So I'm just going to move some things out of the way. We'll delete the combo box, give ourselves a little bit of space to work. And so let's get started by going up input output over to advanced, and we'll choose the radio button. And so right off the bat we get this. So I'm going to keep it as I did before with some representation of exposure. And instead of vertical, we'll go horizontal. Close that, size it, 1, 2, 3. Now, obviously 1, 2, 3 is not meaningful, so somebody coming through would not know what that is, so we need to update those. So again, I'm going to right click, choose edit, and we have two places where we can play. We can do it in here and we can change it, or we can work in the script editor. We're going to be playing in the script editor later, so we may as well get used to it right now. So instead of 1, 2, 3, I'm going to use the same terms that I used in the last one, which was not exposed, exposed, and special. And if we hit apply, we close that, resize our box, we see that now we have a radio button here. And when I choose something, of course, it's not going to do anything quite yet. So what's that is doing, notice this didn't change at all, is if we look at it and just see what value it's giving us. So depending on which one we choose, it's 1, 2, or 3 based on the position in the box. Okay, so the easiest thing for us to do, I'm not saying this is where we want to end, is if we change this to 1 and that to 2, then we should get something that works. So let's just close up the space, make this look better. So we have our cover, select the degree of exposure, that's up here. We can keep that just so we can see what's going on. And so what do we have? We have it's not exposed, so that would be 1. We go down here, it just says 30, but then that's being overridden because we have an aggregate size of 25 millimeters. And so that's the controlling it. So let's just change our aggregate size for a second down to 20 millimeters. And with it down to 20 millimeters, it's no longer a condition that's going to matter. So not exposed, we get our 30 millimeters. Exposed, we get our 40 millimeters. And special, we get our 60 millimeters. So everything's working. So this is working pretty much the way it was before. And so the radio button obviously is doing its job, and we're quite happy with it. Now we can improve on this. Obviously this 1, 2, 3, when we look at the program box, it's not explanatory. So somebody looking at this, one of the values of Mathcad is that you see all of your calculations in the logic laid out, and you understand exactly what's going on visually. Nothing's hidden behind the scenes. So what would be ideal is if we can go back to a condition whereby this is saying not exposed and exposed, and we can see the logic being applied directly rather than using the button number 1 and 2. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in back to the radio button. We're going to change the script and see if we can't return the title of the radio button as a string, and then use that in our comparison. So let's see if we can't do that. So again, we go back up here, we choose edit, we have our code, and so we have our radio buttons, so they're great. And what we have to do is now we have to get down to our execute. Down in here, you see where it gives the output value is equal to the radio button. So what we want to do is we want to return to a variable. So this will be our variable string return is equal to, and we'll use the radio button get text and radio button. So whatever the radio button is, now these values in the scripting, when we define them, they tend to go 0, 1, 2, but we know that this returns values of 1, 2, 3. So I'm pretty sure I have to subtract 1 from that to get it to work, which I found really strange, but I worked through it. Otherwise, it wasn't working. So with that, then all we have to do is change our outputs. Instead of being the radio button location, let's change that to our string return. And let's see if that's going to work for us. So I'm going to close. So this is not working because we still have our 1, 2 there, but we have not exposed, exposed, and special. So now you see that the variable is taking on the string value of the label in the button itself, which is much more, but it's useful to us if we want everything to be obvious. So now all I have to do is go back and return this to what it was before. So that was not exposed. You have to make sure you spell it the same as what you do in the script. And this was exposed. And we get out of that. And so now we have not exposed giving a 30, exposed giving a 40, and special is giving us our 60. So there is a slight improvement just by using a little bit of the scripting capability of the advanced input radio button. We can do that there. So just to see what I could do, again, playing in the scripting, I decided to go one step further and see if I couldn't do all of it right in the button itself and avoid this program box. And so let's see what we would have to do that and whether that's desirable or not. So let's just do that. We'll get rid of this. And we're going to keep that. So now, because we're not doing a two-step, this is going to return the actual variable for cover. Okay, so that's no longer there. So cover is equal to whatever that is. And now we're going to have to go into the scripts and see what we have to do to make that work for us. Right-click, edit, Make this a little bit bigger so we can see it. And so, as you would expect, we're back down into the execute portion of the code. And so right down in here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a couple, make these into comments. And that way, if I find use in them later, I can bring them back. And then give us some space to work. And of course, that means we're going to have to build that Boolean logic directly into the code so that we're returning a value. So we're going to start with an if. And let's see if we can't just build this off the button itself and what number is returned. Remembering that button 1 is not exposed, button 2 is exposed, and special is button 3. So we can just use those values as the thing. Now, as anybody who watched the last video knows that I'm not really a scripting person. It took me a while to figure out that to get it to test for a value equal to something, you need a double equal sign. That was a simple Google search. I say it took me a while, only because I didn't think to look it up right away. And so the double equal sign, we set that equal to 1, close our brackets, and open the parentheses in the other direction, give ourselves a space. Okay, and so if this is button 1, so then we can determine, so if it's button 1, we know our value wants to be equal to, and it was 30 millimeters for not exposed. So we set a value of 30, semicolon. Now we can go down and we can do our else. And so now we want to do a nested if. So we're going to check to see if it is either exposed or special. So we can go if radio button selected button equals, in this case we're going to choose 2. And of course if it's equal to 2, now we know that it's exposed, so it should be 40. So let's set that value. And so like before, I'm just going to copy and paste this down here. Change the value to 40. And now we go, otherwise it's going to have to be special. So we can wrong one. Just to keep this all lined up, and then we should say outputs and that would be 60. And we come down here and we close 2 of these. And that should be fine. So we didn't need these strings, we didn't need this extra space. If I didn't make a typing mistake going through that, I think we should be good. Again, if the first button is chosen, we get 30. If the second button is chosen, we get 40. Finally, we should return a value of 60. So let's hit apply. No, we made a mistake somewhere. 1721, so I just go down to line 17, over to 21. So right in here, I have the wrong parenthesis, I think. There we go. Let's see if that works. Okay, that seems to have done it. Yeah, so we're getting a number back, right? So we're getting cover equals 60. And if it's not exposed, it's 30. If it's exposed, it's 40. Special, it's 60. Now, I always build up my sheets using units. So we want the units to be included. I got to say, I tried for quite some time to see if I couldn't get the code, the JScript, to output the number with the units. I was not able to do that. I noticed in one of the examples that PTC has online that they also apply the units after. So I'm going to assume that my investigation was correct, that we can't get the units out of this. It's not just my lack of coding experience. So that means we actually want to do cover is equal to cover times millimeters, and equals, turn that to millimeters. So we get 60 millimeters. And so now if we do this, we're going to do that. We're going to get the millimeters out. Now the one thing, because remember on the last program box, we also had the test for the aggregate. So we're going to have to do that independently now. So we can do that fairly easy. We can just say cover is equal to the maximum of cover 1.5 times, and it was A control minus max brackets, set it to equals. We're going to get in that in millimeters. And so now remember I had changed this, so let's put that back to 35 millimeters, or 25 millimeters, pardon me. And so now if it's exposed, it's 40. If it's not exposed, it comes back with 30 here, but then it's going to change it to 1.5 times aggregate max in this sentence here. So everything's working the same as it was before. Of course, we still have our reference, which is good to have our code reference there telling people where we got this information. And we could get rid of this space and we could make that work. Now, is this the way to go? Personally, I think one of the biggest values that Mathcad brings to our calculation notes is the fact that everything is laid out the way you would do it by hand. We're not digging into the background to figure out what's going on with a lot of scripts or formulas being hidden from us, much like you would find in a spreadsheet. It's all laid out as if you were writing it out by hand, and then you see the calculation. You put in your annotations, you know it, so it makes great, complete, logical design notes. So I don't think I'm going to keep it this way. I think I'm either going to go back to the way it was using the combo box, which has the advantage of not having the cyber risk associated with the scriptable control, or I'll go back probably to the one just before this, where we were using the radio button along with the program code. So overall, I'm happy. I mean, we certainly have played with the radio button. We've played with some of the scripting associated with it and seeing how that works, and experimented with a couple different options. So with all that done, I think we have a good idea of how to use it in its simplest form, but also how to spice it up a little bit, use some of the scripting, which wasn't that hard to figure out, and get it to do some more advanced features to make it more usable, more friendly for the finished sheet. So with that, I think we're going to call it a day. We have a radio button. We've added it to our toolbox, and whenever we're doing a worksheet where we think that would be the right tool to use, we can do that. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you felt that useful or found that useful. And I think in the next one, we're going to jump into the list box, which has got a great deal of options and capabilities to it. And I'm still working on exactly which example I want to use to demonstrate that. But we'll come up with something. We'll get that out shortly. So hope to see you then. Cheers.